Good morning. So, I want to talk a little bit more about taking action and creating movement in your life during the spiritual awakening, during the twin flame journey. A lot of times it feels like we're almost frozen in place. We can't take action. We know what needs to be done a lot of times, or a lot of times we don't know what needs to be done. Um, and it seems like we get into these ruts and into these mind loops, and what we want is for something in our own life to take action, to take off, something in our own life to have meaning and take over. Say, during the spiritual awakening, we're so deep in this, especially during the twin flame journey. We have all of our focus outside of ourselves. We have um, that other one that we put all of our life force into and all of our focus into and all of our thoughts, and it almost feels like we completely deplete our life. And we know that we need to bring all that energy back to us. It is futile to keep the chase going when you have depleted your own life and your own responsibilities, it seems. um, which, going through this, you can also say that the biggest responsibility is the going through the spiritual awakening and doing the self work. um, but there is a time that we do need to start creating movement within our own life, and have things start taking off and have meaning within our own life. And a lot of times we don't feel like we have the energy to do that. So there's a couple of things that are coming through regarding this conversation. So one of them is just take, you have to create movement in your life, some kind of momentum in your life, in order to allow God to come in, right? Because if you're just sitting on the couch, there is no place, no movement that you are allowing God to come in and open up doors for you, right? So the first thing is that you have to start creating some kind of movement within your own life as well as you can and as much as you can. And that movement can be in the very obvious next step. Sometimes it's just in doing dishes, or folding clothes, or doing things that are very menial, things that seem like they have no meaning to them. But they are creating some kind of action, and they are allowing your mind to come out of that knot that you have it in. And a lot of times things, as you're doing menial tasks like doing dishes, or sweeping the floor, or you are creating some kind of movement in your life. Not only do you feel better once the dishes are done and the floors are mopped and the clothes are folded, but it also, like, not only do you feel better sitting on top of something that you have accomplished, even if it is things that are small, but those things need to be accomplished in any case. They have to get the limelight of your life, and it doesn't have to be those things, but it can be things like that, that don't especially have a grand scheme meaning within the spiritual awakening, or within where you feel like you're steering your life to. But underneath, they do have meaning, because you do have to keep up and manage your physical life, your meat life, the life of the avatar. And in those places, a lot of times when you start creating movement, you'll be surprised how it just starts moving things within your own mind and your own psyche, and then you can start seeing things. What is the next step on the path? The second thing is, I just heard a short from Teal Swan, and sometimes she has like these excellent um, points. And what she said is that do not take action if as long as you have opposing parts within you regarding that action. So let's say, and I can't say how many times I've done this, this is so true, um, that if you have like mixed feelings about something, wait until you get that inner alignment before you take action. So it might be that you're sitting for a few hours doing nothing but aligning and thinking within yourself and feeling within yourself, doing internal work regarding whatever that action is, and coming into inner alignment. See, what will happen is when you start putting action towards something that you're not 100% in, that action is spent for nothing. So not only are you not coming into a better idea because you're pushing on something that isn't completely cooked, you're also wasting the time, because as you come into alignment, you won't be able to do things that aren't in complete alignment anymore. So whatever the task is, it will fall short. And I've done this again and again and again, put all sorts of efforts into things, even days worth of efforts into things that have fallen short of the bar. They didn't get completed because I couldn't see the way to complete them because they weren't fully cooked from the get-go. You know, when something's fully cooked from the get-go, you see it from A to Z, and then your action is direct. So even if it may seem like, and what she was saying, is even if it may seem like others are getting ahead because they're already taking action and moving along, if you sit back even for a few hours and just think about what the action is that you're going to take before you take the action, then your action is going to be that much more defined and that much more, you're going to jump eons ahead in the game if you have it completely configured within the ethers before you go and set action. So there's a few things in here about action. And another thing that I've also noticed, that sometimes with myself, sometimes I do need to actually sit down and start taking some action in a direction that I've been procrastinating around. And then I see that everything just forms around the action. And when I begin, I take a step. Sometimes I can't see all the steps clearly. So there's a paradox in that. Yeah. So it's kind of this and that together. And it's kind of like a tapping. You have to try this a little bit. You try that a little bit. You try this a little bit. Try that a little bit. And slowly you're tapping forward. You're moving different fronts forward. And another thing that I'm learning with myself is sometimes just to let myself off the hook. Sometimes the natural next step is just getting out into nature so that you can cry a little bit, so that you can let things go, so that you can connect back with Mother Nature, and you can be alone in your thoughts, and you can be alone. You can just let yourself do whatever. You can let your mind off the hook. You just not control anything. Just get out in nature and touch nature. Nature touches you back, and you'll see that it begins some kind of flow. So sometimes we just need to be out in nature and get that connection back to the earth that we came from. And so sometimes just let yourself off the hook. That is what I have done this morning a little bit. I've come to this big cave that I come to. I'll turn it around. I'll show you where I am. So I climbed up the mountain. That's the other side. And this is that big cave that I come and I sit in the entrance to. That's down the valley that way. So I guess if I sum this up, it's about taking action during the spiritual awakening, because eventually action is a big part of the spiritual awakening. I found a flint, found ancient flints. This cave is a cave that they found. It was the cave that they found the oldest Homo sapien in, until they found Lucy, I think. So, and there's bats in there. There's also a big owl that lives in there that I've seen a few times. Actually, I haven't seen it in a couple of years. So if I have to sum this up, it would be about taking action during the spiritual awakening, because eventually, in order to bring the whole spiritual awakening into its final stages is in the action stage. You have to bring everything that you learned in the higher planes into this plane and live it. So we do eventually are going to have to start taking action in this 3D world. We're going to have to bring everything that we know into existence here in this plane. So that is the ultimate graduation of the spiritual awakening, is being able to live it, is being able to become self-realized in this physical form. Being self-realized in any other form isn't relevant. When we go back into where we came from, we are going to combine back into the all-knowing. And so the work is in this plane and for this plane. So sending you guys so much love. Thank you for watching.